Chapter 11. Man proposes, emergency disposes. Emergency. Noun. Nigerian meaning. Definition. An unexpected event that dismantles all your plans, throwing them into the potopoto of life, aka life happens. Use. The pandemic set off the world's emergency sirens. When you hear the word emergency, what comes to mind? For me, it's always an ambulance or sirens. When I hear there's an emergency, I think of ambulances trying to get past Lagos traffic, sirens blaring. But then, things changed in 2020. That year that changed it for everybody. At the beginning of 2020, I made plans and wrote them down, thinking that was how my year would go. The pandemic happened, and before we all knew it, the world changed right in front of us. I realized that sometimes, even when you plan, a single emergency happens and you watch your plans fall apart like a pack of cards. This became real in 2020. As if on cue, halfway through the year, many people started to tweet about losing their jobs. Unemployment became another pandemic for the world to deal with. Many organizations could not work in the first few months of the lockdown, and as a result, they could not make money. That was a major problem because they had to keep paying salaries. As hard as it was on my friends who lost their jobs, I could also understand why those decisions were made. Meanwhile, the pandemic did not look like it was going to end anytime soon. The number of confirmed cases and death toll increased all over the world. It was a lot. Yet, I know companies that did not sack any employee but slashed salaries in half to keep up with salary payment. Just with every other thing in life, it did not get personal for me until Shola, a good friend, called and said that he had just lost his job. He was unlucky to have been laid off by his company. I was broken. I made calls trying to see if there was anything I could do with my network, but hardly any companies were recruiting at the time. It was in the middle of a pandemic and global economic recession. The last thing companies were looking for were new hires. So, my friend was stranded on the cold streets of unemployment. Okwe, I want to use about 80% of my savings to buy a laptop now. All this while, I'd been using the office laptop and I don't have that anymore. My productivity has declined. I need a new laptop. That was when I truly understood how brutal Shola's unemployment was. He took about 200,000 naira out of his 250,000 naira savings to get a laptop. Before we knew it, the balance disappeared. You know how money behaves like it has wings, right? You withdraw 1,000 naira. You just spend 100 naira out of it. Before you know it, the remaining 900 naira has disappeared. That's what happened. Shola was unemployed for about 2 months. During those 2 months, it was hard on him. It was hard on his family. And it was even harder on us, his friends. We wanted to help, and we did, but it got to the point that we could not anymore. We were also trying to get our lives together in the lockdown. Some of us were receiving half salaries already, so it was intense, really. When Shola finally got a new job paying twice his former salary, I was super happy. Finally, our friend was out of the mud. 2 months being jobless in Lagos is not easy. All his savings dried up and he was in debt already. It was that hard. Shola's story got me thinking about life and about how sometimes we make plans and our plans fail us. Shola was not alone. He was part of a trend during the pandemic. People lost their jobs and their lives technically came to a stop. Life happens, we know. What is life if it is not a potpourri of daily surprises? So, how can we prepare for these emergencies? Shola had 250,000 naira in savings before the pandemic, but it was all gone in less than a month. Is there a way Shola could have known this was going to happen? No. If there was, then it would no longer be an emergency. But is there a way Shola could have prepared better for the unexpected? Absolutely. Immediately he got a new job. The first thing I did was sit with him and walk him through creating an emergency plan on cowrie-wise to prepare for the unexpected. An emergency fund is a pool of money you set aside specifically to cover the financial surprises that life may decide to throw your way. Though an emergency fund may not solve all your problems, it prevents you from getting stranded when life hits hard. And life knows how to hit hard, giving unexpected uppercuts. But your emergency fund is your boxing headgear. Life will hit, but it will not blow out your face. Emergency funds are the umbrella that protects you from the storms of life. Your security during the rainy days. Trust me, the days will come, but you don't have to be soaked to your skin. When they come, with emergency funds in place, you may just feel the breeze, which may be soothing. You will not be caught running helter-skelter from one friend to the next, from one loan app to the next, looking for shelter. An emergency fund also gives you some freedom to make certain decisions without being handicapped by the financial implications. Keeping this money separate from the money you use to pay bills or achieve other financial goals can help you resist the urge to spend it on other things. Sometimes when you see a big number in your bank account, you get a little too quick to purchase things you really don't need. So keeping this money separate can help you avoid temptation. You get me, right? If Shola had a robust emergency fund, worry won't knock the door. Although he had his savings, for Shola, it was not sufficient. So how can you know exactly what you need to be in your emergency fund? The CarryWise app can help you calculate how much money should be in your emergency fund by telling us something about your monthly expenses. We use this information to recommend an emergency plan that works just for you. This was another useful tool that helps me upgrade to Okpe 2.0. Generally, we recommend that you target 6 times your monthly expenses. For example, if Shola spends 100,000 naira every month, including the monthly house rent expenses, the recommended emergency fund target is 600,000 naira. As you saw, 250,000 naira was not enough, as this would mean living on 50,000 naira every month. See where the problem is? You're probably wondering, where will I find 6 times of my monthly expenses to put aside now? It doesn't have to be a bulk sum. To build up your emergency fund, we suggest you save between 10% and 20% of your monthly income. You would also see how long it would take to get your emergency fund 100% complete. It can be a lot, I know, but I don't want what happened to Shola to happen to you. The best time to create an emergency plan was years ago. The next best time is now. You don't plan for war when it has begun. You plan in the time of peace. Now is the time. I'm rooting for you as always. Love, Okpe.